A lot of gaming creators struggle to come up with video ideas that will actually get views, and that eventually leads to burnout because you see so little progress. And I know this feeling firsthand, having grown a gaming channel to over 10,000 subscribers. Most of the time when you get stuck, you go searching for videos on how to grow your YouTube channel, and you find the advice of just make better videos and be consistent. And yeah, those things help, but none of that matters if the idea itself was never going to work in the first place, because coming up with a great idea requires three components: the topic, the format, and the angle. If you get all three right, you have a great idea. Miss one and your video never gets the views it deserves. So I'm going to break down each one and show you exactly how to find ideas that are already proven to blow up your channel, starting with the topic. So the topic is what your video is about. For example, two videos could both be about the M16 in Warzone, but one video is about the best M16 loadout in Warzone, and the other is about getting 100 kills with the M16 in Warzone. Both of these videos attract a completely different viewer, although they are on the same topic. So if you get this part wrong, your video's potential will be limited because it's signaling the audience YouTube should show your video to. And if the topic of your video has a small TAM, or total addressable market, it does not matter how good your video is, it will never get a lot of views. That's why before anything else, you need to make sure your topic actually has the potential to blow up in the first place. And the way you do that is by finding proof. Not just any proof though, because this is where most small gaming channels get it wrong. They see a big channel post a video and get 200,000 views and think that's proof the topic works. But that's not real proof, because big channels have an existing audience already that will click on almost anything they post. That's not the idea working, that's familiarity bias. The proof you're looking for actually comes from small channels, specifically something called an outlier, which is a video that massively overperformed compared to everything else on their channel. So if a channel averages 2,000 views per video and one video has 40,000 views, that's an outlier. And that's your signal, because the video had no algorithmic advantage, no massive audience carrying it, and it blew up purely because the idea was strong enough to work on its own. So how do you find these outliers? Well, there's a hard way and an easy way. And the hard way is going through YouTube manually, searching your topic, clicking into the channels, and comparing that video's views to the rest of their channel, and repeating that process over and over. It works, but it takes forever. The easy way is using Velio. Velio is the best YouTube research tool that helps creators find viral video ideas. And similar to YouTube, you can search a topic on Velio, but instead of going through individual channels, you can filter the results and see the best performing videos without wasting so much time. So if we type in the same Fortnite tips, I can go over here to filters, filter by, let's say, at least a 3x outlier. And we don't want large channels. We want channels that are small. So anything under 100,000 is pretty good, but I always like to start even smaller at about 50,000 as the cap. And then I like to set the views to at least 100,000. And this is for if you're in a very large niche, such as Fortnite, where the view ceiling is very high. If you're in a smaller niche, you might have to change these numbers around specifically for the views. The outlier score should pretty much stay the same. And I like to come over here to the time range and not do all time. I like to do the last 6 months or the last 90 days. And I'll always start with the closest, like the most recent. So I'll do the last 90 days first to see what's working right now. So we're gonna hit apply. And as you can see from these results, we didn't really get exactly what we wanted. So we're gonna have to come back into the filters, because it does say this filter may be too strict for smaller niches. So we're gonna go ahead and try switching out for the last 180 days, and boom, now we see a lot more Fortnite results. So we have 1 year keyboard and mouse progression, so that could be a good video idea. This channel is a small channel, 2.9k subs, but this video got 152,000 views and this channel averages 380, and that is the only one that I see for Fortnite tips on this channel. So what I would do now is come back, put maybe the last year, and maybe this view filter is too strict. So we might up the subscriber count to 100,000. And we're going to see what happens then. And now the subscriber count was the limiting factor. Now we see a whole lot more titles and ideas that are similar to, you know, Fortnite tips and becoming better at the game. So yes, you have to play around with the settings a bit until you find the right thing. Usually subscribers and view count are the limiting factors, and sometimes the time range that you're trying to do it in. Because if nobody posted a video in the last month about your topic, then obviously you're going to have to move that back a bit. So if you guys want to stop wasting time, I highly recommend using Velio. I have a link down in the description below. It is an affiliate link and every sign up does help me out, but I do use this tool a lot. I do want to show you guys another feature, which is the track channels. Now, this is what I like the most about Velio because you can go ahead and create an entire database around whatever your channel is about. And so if I wanted to manually build a database, I could go in to manually build a database. I could title it Fortnite tips, and then we can go ahead and add channels that we know are in our niche. So right here, Evolve Jake, we would add that. And let's just add most Coach Philip. That's probably a person. I don't even play Fortnite, guys, by the way. How to instantly edit. That's good. Best solo drops. That's solid. And then let's do one more. Slide Jack. How to box fight. Bam. So then after you guys, find all the creators, you can always add more later. You can go ahead and create a database for it. And now you have a database built entirely around your channel competitors. And then you can see exactly what's working right now. As you can see, it updates with the newest videos that creator had posted. And we can do the exact same thing that we did before with the general research. We can also apply filters, check out outlier scores, and then apply. And now we have a lot more videos. And like I said before, the subscriber count and the view count could always be the limiting factor, along with the date. Those are the three main things. And now we have a bunch of videos, mainly from one creator, and we have one from this creator, and then another from Coach Philip. And Coach Philip will probably be the most interesting case because he has 2.9K subs. And this outlier video is 107x, and it's on how to play scrims in Fortnite full guide. So if you have a channel that is, about scrims and maybe ranked in competitive play, this could be a good video idea. So once you have a topic with proven potential, the next thing you need to figure out is your format. And if the topic is the what of your video, the format is the how. And there are 8 formats that work really well for gaming channels specifically. The first is challenges, and this is where you set a difficult or unusual goal, and the viewer watches to see if you could pull it off. People click because they want to see the outcome. Then you have tutorials where you teach someone how to do something specific. People click because they want to learn how to do it themselves. There's also guides, which are similar to tutorials but broader, because instead of one specific skill, you're covering everything someone needs to know about a topic. Walkthroughs are where you take someone step by step through a game, level, or a mission, and people click because they're stuck or curious about what comes next. Commentaries are where you share your opinion or perspective about something happening in the gaming world. People click because they value your take or want to hear a debate. Documentaries are where you tell a story, like the history of the game, the rise and fall of a developer, the story behind a legendary moment, and people click because they want to be taken on a journey. News and updates are pretty self-explanatory. It's where you cover what's new, what's changing, and what's coming within a game, and people click because they don't want to feel left behind. And lastly, there's skill and dominance, and this is where you showcase high-level gameplay, crazy clips, or mechanical mastery, and people click because they want to see someone incredible at the game. Now here's the part that actually matters for small gaming channels. When you pick a format and start making a video, you're competing with every single creator who's ever made that type of video in your niche. And for most of these formats, there are hundreds and sometimes thousands of channels already doing exactly what you're doing. The same format, the same game, same type of video. And what happens is you get lost and you become one of many instead of one of few. So then the question you should ask is, how do you stand out? Well, there's really only 3 ways. You can be first, meaning you cover something nobody's ever covered yet. But for a small gaming creator, that's almost impossible because trends move fast, and by the time you find one, someone bigger has already made the video. The second one is you can be better, meaning your production quality, your editing, and your presentation is so far above everyone else that people choose you over the competition. But let's be honest, better production takes time, money, experience, and most creators just don't have that yet. So that leaves number 3, which is to be different. And different is actually the most powerful option available to everyone because it doesn't require money or years of experience. It just requires a smarter approach to how you combine what already exists. And that's where combining formats comes in. When you combine 2 formats, you create something the viewer hasn't seen before. And because it's unfamiliar, it stands out. It earns the click not because it was the best version of something familiar, but because it was something genuinely new. So instead of just trying to make a challenge video like everyone else. What if you combine a challenge video with a documentary? So now instead of I tried winning using only a knife, you have something like I spent 30 days mastering one weapon. Here's what happened. That's a challenge with a story arc. It's entertaining and compelling at the same time. Or take a tutorial and combine it with skill and dominance. Instead of a straightforward how to aim better in Fortnite, now you have something like I use pro aim techniques for 7 days. Here's how much I improved. Now it's not just instructional, it's a transformation story with proof built in. The combinations are nearly endless, and the best way to find out which ones are working in your niche right now is to go back and look at your outliers. Because when a small channel blows up using an unusual format combination, that's not luck. That's a signal worth paying attention to. But there's one more thing that separates a good idea from a killer idea, and that's the angle. If the topic is the what and the format is the how, then the angle is the spice. It's what makes someone actually stop and click, because two videos can have the exact same topic, the exact same format, but completely different angles, and one will massively outperform the other because of it. So there are basically endless amounts of angles you could take, but there are 9 that work best for gaming. First, you have superlatives, like biggest, smallest, worst, best, most expensive, least used. Superlatives basically work because they tap into our natural attraction to the extremes. I use the worst gun in Warzone. It immediately creates curiosity because you want to know if it's actually as bad as everyone says. Stakes introduce risk or reward into your video. Money is like the most obvious stake, but it doesn't always have to be. For example, I quit if I don't win this match. It creates stakes through consequence, and the viewer sticks around because they want to see what happens. Time constraints work by adding a deadline, which creates suspense. I only had 24 hours to learn this, or can I hit diamond before the season ends? Both work because the ticking clock makes the outcome feel urgent. Comprehensive is promising everything someone could possibly need to know about the topic. For example, the complete guide to surviving your first week in this game works because it removes the need to watch 10 different videos, and one video covers it all. Lists promise a specific number of things, like the 7 mistakes every new player makes, works because it feels organized, digestible, and complete, and the viewer knows exactly what they're getting. Familiarity works by leveraging something your audience already knows and cares about, like a popular game, a well-known mechanic, a trending moment, or a specific person. For example, I tried the strategy that won the esports championship. This works because the familiarity of the reference pulls people in before they even read the rest of the title. Topic but a twist takes something familiar and it introduces an unexpected element. For example, I played the most hated game mode for 30 days and actually loved it. It works because it takes something the audience already has feelings about and it flips their expectation. Comparisons put two things side by side to answer a question your audience is already asking, like controller versus keyboard, which is actually better for beginners. And this works because the viewer is already either in the middle of making that decision or is curious about the answer. And lastly, there is transformations, which shows a before and after. For example, I was the worst player in Fortnite. Here's how I reached champion rank. This works because transformation stories tap into our fascination with radical change. We want to know how they got from point A to point B. Now, just like with formats, you can combine angles too, and some of the best performing gaming videos do exactly that. A comparison with stakes, a transformation with a time constraint, a superlative with a twist. The more reasons you give someone to click, the stronger the idea becomes. But that doesn't mean just stack angles randomly. Pick 1 or 2 that genuinely fit your topic and your format, because the goal isn't to cram as much as possible into a title. It's to make someone feel like they absolutely cannot scroll past your video. But before you commit to making a video, you need to run it through one final check, because every video that sounds good on paper isn't actually worth making. So there are 6 questions you need to ask before you commit to anything. Number 1, is it feasible? Can you actually make this video? It sounds obvious, but it's easy to come up with an idea that's genuinely great, but completely impossible to execute with the resources you have right now. So be honest with yourself here. Number 2, does it reach my target audience's pain points or desires? A great idea for the wrong audience is still a bad idea. Does this video speak directly to what your viewers actually care about? Does it solve a problem they have, or does it give them something they genuinely want? Number 3, does it excite me? If you're not genuinely excited about making the video, it's going to show. Excitement drives better execution, better energy on camera, and better content overall. If the idea feels like a chore before you've even started, that's a sign. Number 4, is there evidence to match your view expectations? And now this goes back to your outlier research. Do you have proof proof that this type of video can hit the numbers you're aiming for, you don't need a guarantee, but you need to at least have enough evidence to feel comfortable that it's possible. Number 5, can you package it? So can you come up with a strong enough title and thumbnail for this idea right now? Because it doesn't matter how good the video is if nobody clicks on it in the first place. If you can't figure out how to package it, then the idea isn't ready yet. And lastly, number 6, does it fit your channel? Because if you've been building a channel around a specific type of viewer, does this idea serve that viewer? Because one video that goes viral but attracts the wrong audience can actually hurt your channel more than it helps. If you answer no to any one of these, go back and rework the idea. Change the angle, switch the format, or find a different topic entirely. And if you can't make it work, scrap it and move on. Because the goal isn't to make every idea work, it's to only spend your time on the ones that are actually worth making. But here's where most small gaming channels still get it wrong. They find a great idea, make the video, it does well, and then they make something completely different next, and then the growth stalls again. That's because a proven idea is only half of it. The other half is understanding who's actually clicking on your videos, because that's who your whole channel needs to be built around. And that's what I'm covering in the next video. I'll see you there.